Hello, everyone. This is Kara Lovehart here, and I'm here to share a little bit about diets and lifestyle and eating choices because this is something when we're new to the holistic path or we're trying to better our health, there can be a lot of different options, and we might not be sure which one is the best for us. So, it is my opinion that when it comes to eating healthy, we all have a different definition of what healthy is according to what we have been maybe perceived or we have read or we have an idea of what healthy is. And I think that it really depends on where you're at on your wellness journey. So, for example, if you are someone that's eating mostly from processed foods, maybe you're mostly eating out, maybe you're eating fast food, a step in the direction that might be healthier or healthy for you would be eating a home cooked meal. And in general, that home cooked meal may not be something that another individual on their path would be considered healthy. Maybe there's certain types of oils used that they consider are unhealthy oils. And so I think the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because when we get involved in changing our diet, we can get overwhelmed with all the information out there and you can go down a rabbit hole and you can get a little bit overwhelmed with what's the right way. And because there are so many different things you can do keto or paleo or vegan or vegetarian or non-GMO or gluten-free or dairy-free or pescatarian or there's so many different things. You can just say, I'm going to only eat local or I'm going to eat organic only. And who's to say what is healthy? Now, when it comes to specific health issues, if you have a specific diagnosis, or if you had maybe your gallbladder removed, or you went through some sort of chemo or cancer treatment, or any other types of issues that relates to maybe Crohn's disease, things where you have a specific highly trained professional that may need to customize things because of organ removal or specific diagnoses, that's when you usually work with a dietitian. And dietitians are trained and specifically trained for maybe what type of diagnosis you have. And that's something that can be helpful, especially when we don't know where to start. And what I've heard actually from a lot of our clients, specifically with gallbladder removal, because that's something that's pretty common, that they had gotten their gallbladder removed and then they were told just to go ahead and you can eat whatever you want. But then coming to understand that they get digestive upset, diarrhea, they get issues with loose stools, or in general, anything when they eat fats, high fat food because their gallbladder is removed. And what I find this is very interesting how common it was for us to hear individuals who have had that happen to them that were just never told through their mainstream primary care or their surgeon of what ways you need to eat. And I think that that's doing a disservice because having loose stool or even diarrhea for too long can be very detrimental to your electrolyte balance and can affect all different things and disrupt the system. So, those are just an example of an individual or a specific thing that you had done that would be beneficial to see a dietitian. Now, other people say, well, what about a nutritionist or a nutritional therapy practitioner or a functional nutritionist? So, these are different things. And I think people get pretty confused again what to do. So if you are someone that wants just specific help with what type of foods to maybe eat in general, you maybe don't have any particular diagnoses or chronic health issues, seeing someone that is a basic health coach or nutrition coach who can just help you with maybe making some more meals at home, learning to read labels, learning maybe what type of caloric intake, what types of foods would be better for you, maybe at your age, maybe where you're at on your journey. If you're trying to get pregnant, it's a different thing. There's specialists for that. But if you're just wanting something in general, a lot of people that we work with, actually, Tanya, she's our nutritional therapy practitioner, Some people will call and say they want a meal plan. Just give me a meal plan. And so when it comes to that, that's very basic and foundational. And that's someone that's maybe a nutrition coach, maybe someone that went to one of the schools that people often hear is the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. So that's a really great foundation for a coach, for someone to go through that training and to have a basic understanding of how to help people, coach them with meal prep, reading labels, understanding nutrition and caloric intake and macronutrients and different things that are supportive for education, and then maybe helping you pick a meal plan so you have a framework to start getting into a healthier lifestyle. Now, if you have more chronic issues or if you're having symptoms, and this could be any symptom that you're working with your primary care and other providers, along with a functional nutritional therapist or nutritional therapy practitioner, this is where you'll get all different types of blood panels, maybe stool tests, maybe saliva testing, blood testing, anything that will help to identify maybe nutritional deficiencies that you're experiencing, maybe microbiome or gut microbe imbalances based on stool tests, and even hormone imbalances from maybe saliva testing. And then there are other testing that they can do, like hair tissue mineral analysis, that can see if you have maybe any heavy metals or anything else in your body that could be disrupting the overall flow and function of your body. And so when you have a nutritional therapy practitioner or a functional medicine doctor or functional nutritionist, when they're looking at you from a lifestyle perspective based on maybe your diagnoses. Again, they don't diagnose unless they're a doctor, but they're looking at you from a whole perspective of what is your lifestyle? Do you work third shift? Okay, based on that, what type of food and diet is going to be working for you with your lifestyle? Something they're not going to say, okay, now you have to stop eating all these things and go here. Someone that's working with you for helping you become more healthy based on where you're at is going to be based on you and what your style of eating already is, and supporting you and coaching you moving into a direction that works for you. So, for example, with our Mind Body Detox program, we had an individual in the past that came through. She just wanted to stop eating McDonald's, which that's great. And so, for her, by the end of the program, making home cooked burgers at home was part of her journey. And she actually liked it better because it was juicier, better meat, better quality. And she felt really good about that. So that's a really realistic step when you're working with a really good health coach, that you don't have general diagnoses or things that you really need to address, like maybe you have chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia or Lyme's disease or something that needs a specialist or a functional doctor or a functional nutritionist to look at your blood panels and look at all the things to see if they can address nutritional deficiencies, not with just food, but also with supplementation. So I think when it comes to what the best diet is, for example, this young woman, when she was wanted to stop eating McDonald's, her answer was eating healthier. And so what was healthy for her at that point in her journey was just starting to eat more whole, home cooked fresh meals and not necessarily going into detail. Now, the reason why I say this is some people will, if they want to make a huge lifestyle change and they're maybe perceiving someone that they see on social media that seems to be eating like super perfect, like non-GMO or whatever that means, and like gluten-free and dairy-free, and maybe they're vegan or everything's home cooked. This is not very realistic for someone who's busy, for someone who's a parent, for someone who has maybe working multiple jobs. That lifestyle may not be the next step or the first step for you where you're at, and actually can set you up for self-sabotage. And then you maybe will try it. You'll maybe go all out for a week or two, but it takes so much energy for your nervous system to make a new habit. And when you're making a whole new lifestyle and trying to make that a habit overnight or within a matter of a few weeks, that can really set you up to fail. And I also include that in dieting in general. The word diet usually refers to shifting your caloric intake or what type of food you're eating for generally a short period of time. That's how we associate it with. In general, our diet is what we are eating on a normal everyday basis. And I think in general, we are working more with, we want consistent weight loss, or we want to continue to increase our quality of sleep, our quality of mental health, cognition, all the things that can be benefited, energy levels from changing our diet and our actual lifestyle, making it a lifestyle instead of just you're doing it for a couple months to get to an end goal and then going back. I think that those types of changes can be very helpful if we're doing it in a posture of fun, exploration, adventure, and taking things one step at a time. And so when you were saying what diet is best for me, when people ask that, because we get that question asked all the time, when we're coaching people, we will first look at what is it that they're willing to do or to try. Something that feels good, that doesn't feel like it's going to be too challenging, too overwhelming. And we may just start with something as simple as they want to eat more home cooked or less eating out at restaurants. Then we can suggest things that are either pre-made or maybe some of these meal delivery services that will give them home cooked fresh meals that can be supported for them to make that next step to just feeling better. Because then when you start feeling better, you have the energy after that to start making better choices and continue on, or maybe start making one of those meals that you're getting delivered that you cook at home that's maybe like a 10-15 minute cooking time. You can start maybe learning to make that from scratch. So there is no real best diet for anyone. I really truly believe this. I think that we're each individual. How old we are, what chronic or health issues we still have or currently struggling with is a big issue that we need to look at, that we need to work with our primary care providers. And also, what are we willing to do? What time do we have? What's our budget? What's our availability and our bandwidth to embark on a new journey? And you can take that at bite-sized steps and stages. So in the program that we run at Firefly Hollow, we do a full meal plan is available, and you can take access and you can look at that and work with it, or take a couple meals and work with that too. Or you can just switch to eating more whole fruits and vegetables through smoothies. That's a really great, easy way to get more vegetables in you, which is, I mean, for the most part, unless people have chronic gut health issues, that eating lots of fruits and vegetables and fiber can actually kick off symptoms. Again, everyone's individual. That's a really general good way to get more food in the body that's healthy and highly nutrient dense. So that's what we recommend usually. And we're working with people again individually. So this episode or this stream is not to diagnose or to tell people what they should be eating, but more so to educate you on, when you're going to be working with a health coach or nutritional person or a dietitian. It's going to be different depending on your background, depending on your age, depending on your bandwidth again. And I think that what is healthy, quote unquote healthy, is going to be different for each individual person. So that example of that one girl in our program before that wanted to stop eating McDonald's, and she was just eating home cooked burgers, that was a huge step for her. In the same program, we actually had someone else that was eating pretty much all home cooked meals. And this is because she was a stay-at-home mom. So think about the reality of her life. She had that extra time that she wanted to put into making home cooked meals for her family and her children. And because that was in her lifestyle, her goal in that particular journey with the program with us, she wanted to switch to eating more organic home cooked meals and vegetables. And so with her bandwidth and her budget, we wanted to help her find and locate a budget friendly local organic produce that wasn't going to break the bank. And how can we do that? Through community supported agriculture, CSA, through working with the Leg Up Farmers Market, and they work with local farmers so they can get really good deals on some of their local produce, which is actually a lot cheaper than some of the other big box stores. We love you, Leg Up. And then also getting any local farmers market, or even growing things on your own if you have, like, even just container gardening, so like growing some tomatoes or something like that, cucumbers, squash, things that are really easy to grow. And that's just one way for her that she was able to go from eating, home cooked meals for her family to her next step of what was healthier for her journey was going all organic, and not necessarily full organic. She was actually going mostly organic and following the environmental working groups Dirty Dozen and Clean 15. That comes out every year. I can put it in the comments below. It's basically a list of fruits and vegetables that have the highest and the lowest amount of pesticide residue and chemical residues. So anything that is on the Dirty Dozen list has the highest amount, And so they recommend not purchasing that inorganically. So making sure that those dirty dozen items, mostly it's usually berries and things like that. We can put the list in the comments below, but that is usually something that is ideal to get organic and to get that potentially if organic's too expensive for blueberries or strawberries or something like that. Again, a budget friendly way of doing that is getting it in frozen. So these are things that we have gone over we have an eating healthy for on a budget course that we love to support people who are new on their journey and they think that eating healthy is expensive. It's not. Trust me, I was a single mom going through school and working 2 jobs trying to feed my child in a healthy way. And also we had a gluten sensitivity, so we had to eat gluten-free and dairy-free. So that's something that people have a perspective. It can be expensive. So I worked my way through finding a way to make it very budget friendly. And so we have that available. But when it comes to eating right, quote unquote, right, I'd love to learn a little bit about you guys in the comments. Where are you on your journey when it comes to eating well? What is it that you feel is healthy? What is your perception of healthy? Again, this is going to be different based on your genetics, based on your blood type. Some people have a specific blood type that does better with a vegetarian diet and others don't. There's a lot of controversy in the health scene about, is it good to eat all vegan? Is it not? And this is a continual argument. And I always think to myself, I think it's a matter of individualism. I think everybody's different. Everybody's body's different. Everyone processes and assimilates nutrients differently. So I think it always goes back to where you're at, what your background is, what your time and your investment in your own lifestyle is, and where you are on your journey. Are you going on the spectrum of, I just want to stop eating fast food and eating a little bit healthier? And what does healthier look like to you? If you're stepping in one direction towards some sort of lifestyle and food intake that's making your body feel genuinely better, lowering your inflammation, helping your immune system get boosted, helping eliminate nutritional deficiencies. If you're doing that, no matter where you're at on your journey, I would say that that is the right diet for you, especially if you can make it sustainable. Now, again, if you're someone that is dealing with a chronic health issue and it is more detrimental for you to be very specific and very disciplined with what you're eating and what you're not eating, so you don't get particular flare-ups of an autoimmune condition or flare-ups with maybe Crohn's disease or something like that. Those are things that then working with a coach can even be more supportive, and getting involved in a group, say like a Lyme support group or an autoimmune support group or a gut health support group, where you have other people that have to be also dedicated because they will experience the fallout or the backlash if they don't eat on that particular regimen or whatever it is that their body needs or foods they need to avoid. So other than that, I'd love to hear from you guys about which particular diet you're following right now. It could be the SAD diet. This is what we call the standard American diet. It's, nothing to be negative about sad about it, but it is the standard American diet. It can be just, processed foods, and there's no shame around this. I still eat processed foods. I'm not one of the things people have a perspective of me as a health clinic owner that I'm like super, super healthy. I am gluten-free, I'm dairy-free, and I am sugar-free, but this is for my own body and what I need. I actually had dairy over the weekend, and when I have dairy, I break out. So you can see in my face, I have all these breakouts, and I'm 39. So I shouldn't be having breakouts like that, but that's something that for me, I know that my body cannot tolerate it. So accidental dairy intake sometimes happens, and I get particular issues with my skin. And this is another thing about diet. There's so many things that we might not recognize that are symptoms, like eczema or sleep issues or mental clarity or brain fog. Even mood and hormone dysregulation can be from diet. And that's something that we don't really notice until we're really trying to go down the maybe integrative or holistic functional medicine path to try to figure out and solve particular health issues we're having, maybe more naturally. So tell us a little bit in the comments, or even private message us what type of diet you've tried, which ones you really liked, which ones were maybe more challenging, and maybe what you're eating now and what foods you really do well on, what foods you love that make you feel good, like really good. Not that, okay, I'm just binging this ice cream because it makes me feel good temporarily, but really feel good and alive and vibrant. What are those substances, food supplements that you're taking? And tell us where you'd like to move with your journey. Are you feeling happy about the diet you're on right now? Are you feeling it's right for you? Or do you have questions or need some guidance or us pointing you in the direction of a practitioner that can support you on your next stages of the journey? So thank you guys so much for listening, and be well until next time, my friends.